CYCLONE. It's a dry cutting saw, and you can adjust okay, so because I have limited space in here and it's really cold outside, a wet saw is really difficult to set up. I could put it in the garage, but the garage is not heated and it's below freezing outside. So that's out. There's another room in here way down in that area over there that he's going to be redoing, and I could possibly set it up there, but I have to set up my big 48-inch rail saw to cut these 24 by 24s. So I'd rather not do that. So the solution that I've found that actually is working pretty good is this IQ saw. It's an IQ 228 CYCLONE. It's a dry cutting saw, and I'm going to show you how this works. And actually, I've been testing this on several jobs, and so far it's been a pretty good solution to all the problems. So anyway, gonna start. I covered this floor up, 24 by 24s. It's this big polished porcelain tile, and so I'm gonna keep going over here, getting this all cut in, and then I'm gonna cement it down, and I'm gonna use this saw to do my cuts, my corner cuts, like over here. Then I can see, around the radiator. On the straight cuts, I'm using a snap cutter. So let's get going. I've used it to cut in this entire. I still got to do some vacuuming over here, clean up, but I've used it to install this entire floor. Every piece, like all these corner cuts, all these cuts, all these corner cuts, that cut right there, this one here, all these cuts were done on this saw. And as I told you, there's it's working actually very well. I'm actually surprised at how well it cuts, and it cuts very clean. This porcelain tile. Let me see if I can show you a cut. So yeah, so this is one of the cuts, and this is a polished porcelain tile. There's a minimal chipping, and that can be dressed with a rubbing stone. So it's actually worked very well on this job. The one drawback, which is not a deal breaker, is it throws these little chips, especially when you're doing like a sliver cut, when you're cutting off a very small piece. All these little chips, it throws them everywhere, all over the place. So you got to be very careful not to grind that into the floor if you're working on top of a floor. See all these little chips? So that's typical of this kind of saw, this tabletop saw. But because it's dry, it doesn't have any water to kind of weigh down the chips and reduce the amount, so you get them flying all over the place. Not a deal breaker, just something to be aware of. Okay, so as I said, I'm using this saw, and I'm using it on some big 24 by 24 inch tiles. But this saw is also great for smaller tiles. Now you see the table slides, I think it go up to like an 18-inch. I'm not exactly sure about that. I'll measure that later. But it also comes with like a rip fence. So for smaller tiles, you know, you can remove this. You can remove this here. Hard to do with one hand. So it's got two little things. It goes then you lock it in, and then I love this because you can, and it won't cut it stops before it hits the blade. So you've got this fence here, but you've also got this micro adjustable fence, which you can put in here and anywhere around, you know, wherever, you know, approximately where you need it. Then lock it in place, and then you can adjust your cut to a very fine degree. And you could also put either one of these on a diagonal for a 45 degree, and again you can adjust it to a fine amount. Does not hit the blade. So this is a nice little feature. Either one of these fences will work on that. So yes, but on these, because I'm using these big, huge 24 by 24 inch tiles, I'm not using either fence. So you can lock this tray in place, put this thing back on, and there's a spot to hold the other one. So to clean it out, you turn this knob a few times. Pull out the tray. Collects quite a bit of dust, and you got your large pieces, your medium, and your fine. So I'm going to dump that into a plastic bag, then put it back, and I'm ready to go. And this is the underside of the saw. That's the filter, and this is where all the dust comes down and goes separated into the tray. So I'm going to clean this out, and we're done.